So hello and welcome to today's episode of Buddy Beta, but before I begin I want to make an apology. Due to Buddy deciding to corrupt itself, Buddy Mysteries has been postponed until further notice. Anyway, let's get on to Buddy Beta, Complete Mayhem and Final Showdown. Now this video is going to be divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be Complete Mayhem rescuing Russell, Part 2 is going to be taking down the leaders, and Part 3 of course is Final Showdown. So let's get on with it with Part 1 rescuing Russell. While there were no objective changes at the beginning of the mission, there were going to be more cutscenes, including the Bullworth Police Department surrounding Wonder Meats.
We've got the suspect, pinned him in the vicinity of Wonder Meats. He's a Bullworth student, just waiting for the word.
Rubber duck in position. There's just a single suspect. This is gonna be fun, boys.
Now, I do not know if there would be a time limit to rescue Russell, but going off the quotes of just waiting for the word and rubber duck in position, it implies that we wouldn't have much time to get to Russell before he's arrested and the mission is failed. Now, upon finding Russell, we would have to outrun the police like we do in the final game, but rather than us just running around the corner and we end up at the Academy of Edgar, we would have to actually find bikes, along with another mini cutscene of Sheldon and Pedro being amazed by the police presence before getting scared by Russell.
Jimmy, there you are. I don't know what to do, and I smell like meat.
Don't worry, I'll get you out of here.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh, look at all those police! They must be catching terrorists.
We need bicycles. Grrr! Roar!
It's a monster! Run!
Now, once we lose the police, rather than a fade to black and the Edgar cutscene plays, it appears that we would have to travel back to the Academy ourselves, as Jimmy has his usual quote of "we've got to get to the school," but an additional one of "let's try the other gate, it's too hot."
Come on, we gotta get to the school. All hell's breaking loose. It's too hot here. Let's get to the other gate.
Jimmy, there you are! Gary's got everyone rioting.
I figured it was him. Don't worry, I'll sort this out.
He's taken control of all the gangs, and now he's trying to tear down the school.
I don't think I'll let him get away with that.
Now here's a massive beta change. Pete would meet us outside the gates and explain to us about Gary's doings. Edgar is strangely absent until the scene where Russell smashes the gate with his head.
Damn, they're locked.
Don't worry, Russell will get it.
Russell, you're a good kid, but you shouldn't do that to your head.
That kinda hurt.
Edgar, we'll take out the gang leaders. Without them, Gary's got nothing.
We'll get that weasel.
Now in this mission, the girls would have also appeared in this mission, rather than being completely absent, but there doesn't seem to be any actual objective here. Just the girls fighting over an unnamed boy, probably Gary, but he's never mentioned by name, only he and "I saw the way you looked at him," and an argument between Mandy and Zoe. Also, Christy and Beatrice saying stuff about like "they hate you," although I don't know if that means they would insult Jimmy or if they'd be saying that about each other. Either way, this part is very open to interpretation.
You slut! I saw the way you looked at him! Shut up, you jealous bitch! So what? He didn't have your name on him, did he?
Who do you think you are? I can't believe you used to be my friend.
I know what you're like, Mandy. Don't pretend. He doesn't like you! You're such a bitch! He loves me! I'm gonna tell everyone about you.
Liar! You're ugly and nasty! I'm never going to forgive you! I hate you, hate you, hate you, hate you!
Another question this raises is, where would this argument actually take place? It does sound like it'd take place inside the girls' dorm, but of course in that mission Johnny and the Greasers are trashing that place up, so this could mean the Greasers may have been found elsewhere. Now this could possibly be the auto shop, as if you use a mod to enter and exit that class, or at least put a trigger down by it, you'll notice it actually feels like there were plans for Jimmy to be able to enter and exit that place rather than it just being used for class. Because with some other classes they either don't let you leave, like the art room for one, or spawn you somewhere else like the chemistry class which knocks you out instantly. Now speaking of the Greasers, the audio files puts them as the first clique Jimmy would fight. Well, okay, that's a bit of a lie because after the girls' audio there are audio files of Gary over the intercom, which I'll cover when I get to it. However, that does not mean Jimmy would have been forced to fight a clique in a specific order.
What the hell are you doing, Johnny? Why are you taking orders from Gary?
Shut up, Jimmy. You left us and everything went down the toilet.
I beat you once, I'll beat you again.
Now it seems that after fighting and beating up the leaders, you would have another short cutscene with Jimmy convincing them to stop fighting.
All right, Jimmy, you're the boss. Sorry, I forgot.
It's all right, Johnny. Now help me get this under control.
No sweat, Jimmy, I got it.
And for some strange reason, there's another Johnny encounter in this mission where Jimmy catches Johnny with, I'll assume, another girl, and Jimmy promises to keep quiet if Johnny stops the Greasers from fighting.
Oh, Jimmy, you saw us. Please don't tell Lola.
On one condition. You get your crew to stop fighting.
Anything you say, Jimmy, just don't tell.
Now this is also strange because these are the only audio files that have a letter after their identifier rather than just being a number, for example, like 33. Now there aren't any massive objective changes, mostly all just deleted stuff, so here's the Jocks files.
Ted, I need you to help me.
Get lost, Jimmy. You ain't nothing.
You're just asking for it. Had enough, Ted?
All right, Jimmy.
Good. I need you to calm your boys down.
It also seems that there are like 3 or so deleted files, as the Jocks audio ends at audio file 42 and the Preppies begins at, well, audio file number 45 with no sign of anything in between here.
Hey, Derby, someone's here to see you.
Oh, it's the thug. Don't worry, boys. I'll deal with him.
Hey, Darby, would you please tell your boys to stop fighting?
Oh, I suppose, since you asked so nicely.
Stop your boys or I'll smash your face!
All right, Jimmy. All right.
You're getting really tiresome, Darby. Cut it out. I trust you remember who you're working for, Darby.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now stop making trouble.
The audio files used for Ernest's encounter are also incredibly messy and out of order, so I've had to rearrange these myself, but here they are.
Ernest, you nerd! What were you thinking?
You fool! You don't see it! Gary's got a plan! A great plan!
You idiot! Gary's plans are a load of crap! I should know!
You don't get it! With my brains and his lack of morals, nothing can stop us!
Whatever! I'm gonna stop you both! I trust I've cured you of your megalomania, Ernest.
Completely. But why didn't you get Gary?
I'll get to him, but you've got to get your clique back in line.
After fighting all 4 cliques, you would then head back to the academy, but things would actually play out differently here, with Jimmy and Ted, and probably others but they're not seen or heard in these audio files, teaming up and trying to gain access to the academy only to be stopped by Seth.
Edgar, go help everyone calm down. I've got some business with Gary.
Understood. Good luck.
Gary said you'd turn up. There's no way you're getting in.
You better let him in.
I think, but I'm not too sure, that you may have had to actually fight Seth here, but there's no other audio files for this. That or Seth would just bust Jimmy like he does in the final game, only get chased off by everybody else. Either way, Jimmy thinks of it as satisfying.
That was incredibly satisfying.
Now something strange to realise about this is, there seems to be no quote from Seth about weapons being for prefects only or Russell attacking, but then again I do believe those quotes are used in free mode, so it sort of makes sense for them not to actually. That does not mean they were going to be unused originally. Also, once you enter the academy, rather than a cutscene playing, you would have to find Gary yourself as he taunts you over the intercom.
Your attention please, Jimmy is complete human trash. Jimmy, you know your mother never loved you, don't you? Why do you try, Jimmy? You think you have a chance? It's too late, Jimmy. Everyone hates you. Give it up, Jimmy. You're pathetic. Jimmy, beating up people doesn't make anyone like you. It was laughably easy to manipulate you. Does that bother you, Jimmy? I tell you what people say about you, Jimmy, but I wouldn't want to hurt your feelings. So it is true what they say, Jimmy, about you and those animals? You're sick in the head, Jimmy, and everybody knows it.
This was most likely changed because Gary would most likely be in the office when you found him, and then once you find him, you'd have to chase him all around the school as he taunts you before running up to the roof to begin Final Showdown. It would have been the only time that the roof access room would have been used.
Gary, you little bitch! Come out!
James, I've been waiting. Let the games begin. Slow as always, eh, Jimmy? Pinky told me you were a horrific kisser, Jimmy. Aw, did I hurt your feelings, Jimmy? How does it feel to be expelled for the last time, Jimmy? I told you I had a plan, Jimmy.
Now, before I go on about the removed dialogue of Final Showdown, I'll talk about some of the other changes too. First of all, the music. Final Showdown had 3 different versions before the one we all know and love was chosen as the final version. The first version, simply named MS_Final Showdown, is still used in the final game and is used in the mission Rats in the Library. However, due to how short that mission is, it's not heard much. The second version we know is MS_Final Showdown Showdown 03, implying it's the third version. So what about the second version, which would most likely be called MS_Final Showdown 02? Well, sadly, the second version of Final Showdown appears to be deleted entirely, as there's no MS_Final Showdown 02 anywhere to be found in the game's files. Maybe it's available on a very early beta copy, but it's not seen on the PC version at all. So we may never know what the second track might have sounded like. Also, as seen in the very early designs of Borth Academy, it's entirely possible that Final Showdown itself may have been drastically changed, or maybe the mission wasn't even created when this design for the Academy was still being used. Either way, if Rockstar did have this design for the Academy and made Final Showdown, it's highly likely that this would have taken place elsewhere, or would have been drastically different to the Chase Gary scenario we get in the final game. Sadly, there's no unused objectives to the mission, just a load of unused dialogue by Jimmy who would have reacted to what Gary would have been saying, and some unused quotes by Gary too, of course.
If you prove to be one thing this year, it's slow! You'll never catch me, Hopkins! You're too trusting, Jimmy. From the start, you were pathetically naive.
Naive in trusting you, perhaps.
Poor little Jimmy. All alone in big, scary Bullworth, under fire from Russell and his goons, desperate for help.
That's not how I remember.
So sad, so hopeless, just needing a friend, any friend. You were so easy to manipulate, Jimmy.
Do you think you're manipulating me right now?
And once we were friends, it was all so clear. You had your lust for power, but without intelligence to back it up. Using you as a pawn was so wonderfully obvious.
You really are full of yourself.
Let Jimmy have his fun. Let him play his childish little games with Ernest, Ted, Darby, Johnny, and Edgar, and just wait for the right moment to swoop in and take it all. It was like lining up dominoes. It all fell together so perfectly. While you were off wasting your time with whores like Lola, I was in the dorm planning. While you were racing bikes, while you were playing at the carnival like a child, my plan was coming together. Does it hurt? Looking back at all the time you wasted over the last year, all the time you were working for me. Heads up, got something for ya. Special delivery. Are you having fun yet, Jimmy? Careful, don't hurt yourself. Look out! Any regrets, Jimmy? Looking forward to the wasteland that your life is about to become? After you're expelled from here for your antics over the last few weeks, you won't have anywhere left to go. No school will take a child with your history. No prospects. You'll end up begging for money on the streets if you're lucky. No wonder your mother left you here. She must be so embarrassed by you, Jimmy Hopkins. Just give up, Jimmy, before you get really hurt. Ah, you should have seen that come. I told you to give it up. Aw, did little Jimmy get hurt?
Nowhere to run now, eh, Gary?
I can take you, Hopkins. Exciting, isn't it, Jimmy? Do you have the guts to keep this up?
You're an idiot, Gary. A power-hungry idiot. You went about this all the wrong way. Look where your plans have put you. I hope this was all worth it, Gary. No regrets.
Upon completing Final Showdown, it appears the roof would have been fully accessible to the player whenever they wanted to visit, as the door going to and from the roof would have worked perfectly, and it still does if it's modded. It's unknown why this was changed exactly, possibly due to the fact there's nothing to do up here and it would have just been, well, completely useless, or the possibility of Jimmy getting stuck when attempting to revisit the area where he and Gary fought on. Or maybe because it would provide the player with an area where they'd be completely untouchable by prefects, as NPCs don't use walkways or ladders. So let's talk about the ending. Many people, including me, have heard a rumour that Gary Smith was supposed to die at the end of Buddy. Is this true? Now sadly, I've been unable to find any actual evidence that backs that theory up. There's nothing that hints at Gary's death. The only thing we have to go off of is the Jimmy death from Showdown at the plant, but even that has been scrubbed clean aside from a few of Edgar's quotes, so it might be a rumour with nothing to back it up, or it might have actually been true at some point, but of course has been scrubbed entirely. But we're not done yet either, as Final Showdown might not have been the original ending at all. Now I won't cover in this video, but I'll put a link to the end screen in the comment. But there are leftover strings for a 7th chapter with all new missions. Now if you follow Beta Buddy, then you'll know that after Jimmy gets expelled it would have been chapter 6 and End the Summer would have been chapter 7. Now there's no more to these missions however, as there's no other strings left for it other than the 1st and the 3rd mission, but it could heavily imply that Buddy had an alternate ending, or at the very least an epilogue, like, you know, the Red Dead series has. Anyway, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more Buddy content, or if you want to support me even more, consider hitting that join button next to subscribe. It will help me out massively and you'll get early access previews to my main series videos of Buddy Beta, character critiques, Buddy mysteries and mobile rip-offs before they're fully uploaded. So that's it for today's video, thank you for watching and have a nice day.